Brother Ben here? Brother Ben. Now, Ben got a heck of a program. A lot of people listening to Brother Ben. And Ben tells them about the minister. And Ben tells them about the minister.
In the name of Allah, the beneficent, the merciful, I bear witness there is no God but Allah, and Muhammad is his messenger. I would like to greet you all with the greeting words of peace. We say it in the Arabic language of Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back to your power call. This morning we will be going over how to overcome fear with the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. If you are here for your very first time, what we do is we listen to the message and we take notes on what stands out for us specifically. And towards the end, well, at the end, we will discuss our notes and share what stood out to us if you're here for your very first time. If you're listening maybe on YouTube, Facebook, anywhere else, Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, and you want to participate on the Zoom calls because you would like to share your thoughts, you can always come over to our free community, www.thepowercall.net. That's www.thepowercall.net. With that being said, let's get right into the message here.
The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan.
In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, we give him praise and thanks for his intervention in our affairs in the person of Master Farad Muhammad, the great Mahdi, who came among us and raised one from our midst, upon whose shoulders he placed the heaviest burden that has ever been placed on any human being in the annals of history, and upon whose shoulder he placed a weighty word to deliver that heavy burden. The heavy burden is the resurrection of the mentally dead black man and woman of America. We thank him for his choice of the right man to do the job. And that right man is his Messiah to us, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. I greet all of you, my dear brothers and sisters, with the greeting words of peace. We say it in the Arabic language, Assalamu alaikum. To Minister Ismail Muhammad and members of the ministry, class, laborers, brothers and sisters, visitors and friends, I'm always very happy and honored to be in your midst, to be able to share with you some of that which we have learned as a result of attempting to follow this very bold, wise, courageous, and powerful black man, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Our subject today deals with 3 words. These 3 words represent essentials that would allow us to live life successfully the way God intended for human beings to live. These three words, if understood and acted upon properly, will give us a key to mastering every situation that life could pose. I want each of us to think about something in life that is troublesome to us. I want us to think about something in our own life that we need to overcome. I want us to think about something in our life that we desire, but as yet have not been able to attain it. Mastery of the principles underlying these three words will not only give you the solution to that particular problem that you and I personally may have, but it gives you the key to any problem you will ever face at any time in your life. The three words, number one, fear. Fear. Number two, faith. Number three, truth. Fear. Is fear natural? If fear is a natural thing, then is it something that we must overcome? And if so, how? According to the dictionary, fear is a distressing emotion aroused by impending pain, danger, evil. Whether that pain, danger, or evil is real or imagined, if you become afraid even of some imaginary thing that has not yet happened, the distressing emotion will still be present. It is the feeling or the condition of being afraid. But there's another kind of fear. It has reverence to it, and that is the fear of God. Fear restricts whatever we are afraid of. That we fear makes us insecure. Whatever makes us afraid and insecure could cause us to bow. If we bow to that which we fear that has made us insecure, then there is no way that we could be Muslims. I'm going to say it again. Whatever you fear gives you a sense of insecurity. You don't feel secure. The very fact that you feel insecure is beginning to tamper with your being a Muslim. Because a Muslim is one who has been made secure. And having been made secure, enters into peace no matter what the circumstance is. Listen. When we are afraid, fear causes us not to think properly. Fear causes us not to act properly. Fear makes you so insecure that you have a tendency to acquiesce, to submit, to surrender to the thing that you're afraid of. And if you acquiesce, submit, and surrender to what you are afraid of, then it becomes a god to you beside God. Do you understand? Now, think of something you're afraid of, or someone you're afraid of. If somebody can terrorize you, they got you. The moment they can make you tremble, I mean, some things can make you tremble now, but the question is not if you tremble, the question is, what do you do after something makes you tremble? Now, if you just lay down, say, in the street language, somebody just punked you. Then you can't say, I'm a Muslim and I'm afraid, and I wouldn't challenge my own fear. It is not that you won't be made afraid, because there's some terrifying things in this world. But when you are afraid, that's the test of faith. Now you got to call on what you got faith in. Now some of us might have faith in our own strength. You know, I go to the gym every day. I work out. You know, I built my muscles, and so don't make me afraid. I'll rely on my strength. But when somebody got a .357 Magnum placed at your head, then all your work in the gym might not help too much. So when you face the gun, fear jumps up in your heart, because you know that has the power to take your life. Well, do you surrender, or do you challenge the thing that has made you afraid? Now, most of us, when we are tried by fear, we succumb. And no man can ever be what God intended him or her to be if you allow anything but God to make you afraid. I'm going to say that again. I'm going to say it again. I want you to internalize this. Anytime we allow anything to make us afraid, and we refuse to challenge our fear of that thing, then we can never be that man or that woman that God intended us to be, because fear will not allow you to be yourself. Now, if God made man and woman in his own likeness, then can you imagine God being afraid? I mean, just think about God for a minute. Ooh. There's a lion. Oh. How could he be afraid of what he created? So if he is the creator and this is the creature, then he has natural mastery over it if he does not allow what he created to terrify him. This is no Frankenstein that the thing created now can terrify its creator. There is nothing in creation that can make God afraid. Well, then if God is not afraid of anything that he created, and you and I are in his image and in his likeness, will you tell me, please, how we can justify being afraid of anything in creation? Tell me, can you justify it? Now let's talk about that for a minute, because it's easy to say no, sir. But let's talk about it. Let's see if there's anything in creation we justify in being afraid of. Let's start with the biggest thing: the sun. Should we be afraid of it? Why? It was created to serve you. Moon, stars, everything that you see was created to serve man. If you're afraid of it, you can't master it. You don't even approach it with the thought of mastering the sun. Let's not even talk about mastering ants or bees or birds. But you were created to master everything in creation, because everything in creation was created to be the servant of man. Well, if you become afraid, fear restricts you from the study necessary to become a master. Well, there are things in life. I mean, if you were out in the field and a bear jumped up, I mean, a bear will make you afraid, brother. You know, and there are other creatures that will make you afraid too. But you know what? The creatures have a natural fear of you, because they know something about you that you don't know about yourself. The creatures know that you have been given power over them. They're frightened of the human. But the human has no right to be frightened of the creature. I once was listening to a tape by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. I was out in Arizona taking a month to fast and pray and discipline myself for a fight against cancer. And while I was out there, I was listening to a tape of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and he was saying that God did not make the original man, black man, to be afraid of anything in his creation. He only made you and me to fear him. And it is the fear of God and God alone that gives you mastery over the creation. But if you don't know God and won't trust God and have faith in God, then things that make you afraid will become your master. So after I heard that on the tape, it just so happened the next morning, every morning, I went for a morning walk. And I would walk from 4 miles every day to 11 and 12 miles sometime on the weekends. So this morning I was out walking. I always had the brothers to walk a few paces behind me, because that was my time of communicating with God, and I felt I wanted to just be to myself. This morning I'm walking and a big bull is in the path. I ain't talking about a cow now. And there is a difference. And the bull is about where the exit sign is back there. And I'm walking. The bull see me, I see the bull. The bull stop, and I stop too. And the bull put his head down and started moving his feet, you know. And I know what that means. And you know what that means. And a little fear, you know, jumped up in me. I said, oh. And I just remembered the words of Honorable Elijah Muhammad. I said, well, wait a minute. I ain't supposed to be afraid of this. I started walking. Now, wait a minute. I'm challenging my fear. I'm not saying you won't be made afraid, but you must not let things punk you. That's what I'm talking about. I couldn't turn around. I couldn't run backwards. I couldn't walk back because I had something in my head that my teacher had told me. So I talked to myself. You heard what he said. And brother, sometimes you got to talk to yourself now. Sometimes you don't have time to talk to yourself. But I had at least 50 or 60 paces to think this thing out. And I started walking toward the bull, and the bull never moved. He put his head down again, and he started doing this, you know. And I kept right on walking. And when I got about 20 paces from the bull, fear jumped in him. And the bull ran off in the bush. I said, Allahu Akbar. And what I'm suggesting to you is that the thing that has made you afraid, if you challenge your fear of that thing, you might find fear jumping into that thing, because you were not created by God to be afraid of anything in creation but He Himself. And He's not creation, He's creator. All right, let's start now. Now, you know, God, we're still on fear. God is worthy to be afraid of, seem like to me. But you got to believe and know that a God exists. And there's too much majesty here for me to think that this magnificent creation doesn't have some not only architect and plan and order, but there had to be a planner and some power to give it order and to regulate the affair of the earth and all its creatures and the heavens above. So whoever that being is, I never met him, but I believe he exists. And since I believe he exists, I have a duty to him. Now the Bible says the beginning of wisdom. Now let's think about this now. You haven't even begun to be wise. It said the beginning of wisdom. You're a beginner. If you understand that the beginning of wisdom is the fear of God. And I'm going to stop right there just for a minute, because we can't spend a lot of time on these things, but I want you to study on it maybe after the lecture, and you will study on these things because you might be confronted with it before you leave or after you leave. At some point, you're going to be confronted with something, and you have to become master. And all I'm trying to get you to do is not to say you ain't afraid, but to challenge fear with faith that you can overcome your fear. Because the moment we overcome that which we are afraid of, we can become its master. Now, everything, of course, except God. Now, if the beginning of wisdom is the fear of God, then what would you call wisdom? If the fear of God makes you a beginner, then what is wisdom? See, wisdom is that which allows you mastery. And you cannot begin to become wise in life if you don't learn the fear of God. And once you learn the fear of God, then nothing in creation becomes able to terrify you. Then you are in the beginner's class of mastery. And you know what's wrong with us as black people? We're afraid. And the fear that we have, I mean, we all go to church, and I guess many of us do, but we don't learn enough about God to fear him above white people. Now we're going to just let's be honest now.
Thank you for calling Meridian.
I mean, we can shout all over the church.
Are you calling from provider's office or are you a member?
And then you go to work tomorrow, and the boss threatens you. And you feel that the loss of this job is the loss of security, so you start bowing to something that ain't right. You refuse to challenge because you don't want to lose your job. I can understand that. But if you allow a job to punk you, excuse my expression, it's really slang, I shouldn't use it, but I just want to be so clear. I don't want anybody to misunderstand. I'm not telling you to be a fool and lose your job. But I am telling you that you can challenge anybody with respect, and they will learn to respect you and become afraid, not of your muscle, but of truth that's in your mouth that you are not afraid to speak when the situation calls for it. And you know what? Practically every day in our lives, we are confronted with something that we walk away from. We don't want to tell the truth. Whatever reason you give yourself. Well, I ain't going to say nothing because they ain't going to understand, or I ain't going to say nothing because you know how hot-headed the boss is. But there's a way to do everything. But if you let people continue to make you afraid, then you'll never be the man that God intended you to be. And you must not oppose God's will for you. God wants you to be a man. God knows that you can never take charge of your post as a man and fulfill the responsibility that God lays on us as men if we are afraid. Your duty is support, provision, protection for your female. How you gonna protect her afraid? How can you provide for her and you're afraid that because of a job you're not going to eat? Birds eat. Bees eat. Worms eat. Are you better than a bird, a bee, and a worm that you should put your life in the hands of a Caucasian master and you say that God is not able to feed you? No. You will survive Even if the odds are against you, you will survive. You don't have to lie, cheat, or steal to survive. If you go according to the way God directs you, you will win. But if you become afraid, the fear restricts you. And you know, all of us, men and women, need psychological help. I was an athlete, and when I was a young track, I don't want to say track star, but I was an athlete. And the first meet of the year, I would either equal the record or break it. Because in that meet, there was no pressure. But when it came time for the championships, I let fear and nervousness restrict me, and I lost to those who were inferior in terms of time. And here's the finals, that is the championship, and I lose in a time that I had beaten in the first meet of the year. So I didn't need more running, I needed somebody to help me with my mind. And that's what you need, we need. You need somebody to help you with the way you think. And that's what makes the Honorable Elijah Muhammad so valuable to black people. The Bible calls him a wonderful counselor. And you know, when you get in trouble, they say, well, go see the counselor. But that's what Elijah Muhammad is known for, the wisdom of his counsel. Now, look, I'm not Superman. I'm far from that. But I appear to be that to many because I won't let the power of this world punk me. Now you know white folk have power. You know the government has power, don't you? Awesome power. And you know that those Jewish people that don't like Farrakhan, they are organized, they are disciplined, they have money, they have power. But I cannot let them make me afraid. I was teaching one time in New York at the John Jay College of Criminal Justice. I had made a speech that was very innocuous, harmless. I didn't, hit him too hard. I kind of crafted the speech real nice. I got through the speech fine. The first question, this detective got up, kind of big, imposing fella, and he opened his coat and he threw it back. And there was this big gun on his hip, and he wanted to make sure that I saw the weapon. Now he's trying to do what? Exactly, trying to make me afraid. And then he said, Minister Farrakhan, I understand that your teacher, Elijah Muhammad, teaches that all us white people are devils. Now that was my heart. Now he had succeeded. He made me afraid. Now, after he made me afraid, if I had laid down on what I know Elijah Muhammad teaches, then I'm through. I'm not only through in terms of him, but the worst thing, I'm through with myself. And if you can't be true to you, you can't be true to nobody. So he made me afraid, but then I challenged my fear. I said, yes, Elijah Muhammad does teach that all white people are devils. And now let me tell you why. And the moment I challenged my fear, that man forgot the gun that was on his hip. And he said, I understand. I understand. He didn't want to hear no more. So, listen. I sat with the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and told him my experience. He was very concerned. He said, and what did you do? And when I told him what I did, he smiled. He said, yes, brother, it's written in the Holy Quran that Allah said, I will try you with something of fear. That's the first thing that God uses to try what? Your faith. I'm going to try your faith, because if I can make you afraid and insecure where you lose your trust in God, then I can make you bow to what it is that you're afraid of. So he said, yeah, Allah said he would try you with something of fear, hunger. Man, hunger will get you. If you ever been hungry, hunger will punk you, man. Somebody just don't give you food and then come dangle something on a string. You might act up to get a piece of bread. So when God says, I'm gonna try you with something of fear, hunger, loss of life. Now, in all of our lives, we fear the loss of life. Someone that we love, someone close, you don't want to lose them. So people can get somebody you love and threaten you by what you love. And if you love anything more than God, then you're not worthy of God. Now this is getting heavy now. Because every one of us have suffered some kind of loss. And you don't want to lose something you love. Some of you got boyfriends or husbands. That ain't right. And the fear of the loss of that man, you say, all right, I want you out on the corner tomorrow with this crack. Don't tell me you ain't gonna sell it. Smack you up. On the cover of Essence magazine is a black woman who was an honor student, never been in trouble. Emerged, thank you, emerged. And she fell in love with some boy that punked her. He just beat her and told her, go out and sell this. And she went out and sold it, got caught, and is now doing 24 years because she submitted to something that she wasn't worthy. At some point in your life, woman, you got to make a decision. You gonna let some man punk you and make you a whore, smack you up. And see, there's something that can be done about all things. For somebody to abuse you to get you to do what you know is wrong, and then you allow fear of loss of the man, or loss of a tooth, or loss of your life even, to make you surrender to something that is unworthy of you, then you want to pass the blame. Well, you see, it was him. He beat me and made me do it. Shut up! The Bible didn't say, and the Holy Quran didn't say to the female, that if your husband beats you, it's all right to do evil out of fear of what he gonna do. The book says, me and me alone should you fear. Now listen to the words, me and me alone. Then if you're afraid of your husband, you've made him a god beside Allah. Then you'll do his will even though his will is against the will of God. See, you're wrong, sister. But my marriage vows told me that I should obey. Oh, shut up. You ain't never obeyed nobody, not even God. Sister, you don't have no excuse because you're a female. Because if the female put her faith in God, you can terrify a man. And a man don't want to be in no trouble with a woman who ain't afraid. Because you sleep sometime. And you a damn fool to get her upset and then sleep. Because one day the sleep will be permanent. Rest in pieces. Now, in the Bible, everybody all right? Yes, sir. In the Bible, Saul was made king over Israel. And through the prophet Samuel, God told Saul, I think it was the Amalekites he was fighting, and God told him, kill the men, the women, the children, the animals. Don't take none of their spoils. Kill them all. Whoa. Now somebody, when I remember I had a talk with a particular entertainer, very, very well known, and when he studied that in the Bible, it shook him so bad, he didn't want to go back to Bible class anymore because he couldn't understand God telling the Israelites to kill men, women, and children, kill the animals, and don't take nothing as a spoil. But if you look at God, when God is angry with a people because of that people's wickedness, he don't care nothing about children. Because if the children come from wicked parents, maybe the sins of the parents should be visited on the children. And that's why when you have children, you have to be careful how you live. because you could be passing on to your children the weight of things that belong in your life, but they come up on your children. You didn't hear me. Saul went out. He heard the command and he went out to the battle. And God gave him the victory. But he didn't quite obey. He allowed his men to tell him. His men said, you know, some of these women is fine. Some of these cattle are fine. Look at the gold. Look at the stuff they got. Surely God is not going to mind if we take a little something. And Saul gave in and was disobedient. God was so angry with Saul, he said he would no longer recognize him as king, and raised David up as the anointed to replace Saul. So fear caused a king to lose his place. Now, one of the things that God always does when he chooses a person to accomplish a mission, he says to them, I am with you. Listen to these words. I am with you. Then he says, be not afraid. Be not afraid. I am with you. Take courage. Don't worry about how mighty they look. I am with you. Go forward. See? Now, to the Muslims, you have accepted a mission, and that mission is the liberation of all of our people, the resurrection of all of our people. So if you're afraid to go out and do your job, then you are denying God. Then he will sit you down and bring someone else in your place. See, God don't care nothing about those in positions of rulership or power. Your power depends on obedience to the sovereign of the universe. Now, so ministers, we can't make no excuse, you know. Well, see, the men said they wanted, you know, and you know how it is. No, I don't know how it is. I'm sitting you down because you were afraid to obey me, God. So if you're afraid to obey God, then whatever you fear becomes your master. So he surrendered to his men. See, when you're in leadership, not of a gang, but in leadership under God's divine command, you do not follow the people. I don't care what the people think. If you know God has commanded you, then don't listen to the people. Listen to God and challenge the people. Now, I'm not saying something that I'm not trying to live. I am no better, no stronger than any man in this room or any woman in this room. But one thing that God has allowed me so far to do is to challenge my fear. I want to give you a few more examples and then we'll move on to faith. Now, why am I giving you examples out of my life? Because to give you an example out of the life of the prophets, how they challenged Pharaoh, they challenged Nebuchadnezzar, they challenged flames, that's beautiful you know, when you read it in the Bible. But when you read it in the Bible, if it doesn't give you courage in your time period, then reading it yesterday, you might think that it can't happen today. But God is able in every generation. And he will never let you down. He will never let you down if you put your trust in him. Now I'm going to say something in my own life again. In 1972 in New York City, the police attacked our mosque. I was in my office giving dictation to my secretary, and I heard some shots. I said, what is that? So I went to the door. My secretary got up to come behind me. I said, no, you stay. As I'm going down the stairs, the brother that was on the front post was running up the stairs, and he met me going down. He said, don't go down there, minister. They're shooting down there. I said, that's exactly where I'm going. Now that brother didn't say, well, if you're going, I'll go with you. He kept on going. I'm just telling the truth. I don't even know where that brother ended up, but he was moving. When I looked around, my secretary was right behind me. She gonna challenge, because I'm gonna challenge. This is the female now. But she was disobedient. I told her to go back in the office. Why? A man can't take care of the business if he got to worry about the female getting hurt. I said, get back in that office. And I was guilty of a little abuse because I struck her, just to let her know that I meant what I said and don't come down them stairs. She was going to fight with me, but that would take my attention off of what I had to do, especially if she got hurt. Going back upstairs, I saw a gun, a long barrel. It was like a rifle with a, you know how they have these holes where you can cool the barrel? The gun was smoking, so you know the boy was firing it. And I mean, when I saw that smoking gun as I was coming down, the gun preceded whoever was holding it. I'm coming down the stairs. Now this is real. Should you go back up? Or should you go down? I was afraid. I challenged my fear. I went on down. See, if I'm gonna die, this is a no better day, I'm going on down. And I went down. And when I went down, a calm was around me, and when I walked into the vestibule, a calm hit everybody. I went down in the basement. They had some of the brothers down there with their hands up. I said, put your hands down. When the people in the community knew that the police were in the mosque, nearly 10,000 black people came from everywhere. Look here now. They surrounded the mosque, police inside. Listen now. Listen. FOI, outside, police outside. People just packed the street. Sharpshooters going up across the street into the building. The people say, you ain't going nowhere. Sharpshooter was afraid to challenge the mob. The mob set fire to their bulletproof vests, overturned their vehicles. and they said, bring Farrakhan out. And you let us see him, because if any harm come to him, everybody gonna die here today. Now, that was 24 years ago in the city of New York. The police came to me, Farrakhan, would you just go out and just let them see you? Now, a policeman died on the scene. It's now a murder scene. Another policeman wounded, because the Muslims gonna fight. We ain't got no gun, but we got a God, and we are gonna fight. Didn't say we wouldn't be made afraid, but we have to challenge our fear and fight with that which fights with you in the name of God, and watch God go to work. And if you ain't got no God, then forget it. But if God is real, and he is, then the same way he delivered people in the past, he will deliver us in the present. But we just got to put faith in God and challenge fear. Now, I'm saying that to say, I went outside and stood on top of an automobile, and there's a picture of me standing on this automobile in the New York Times back in 1972, and 10,000 angry black people in the street. And once the people saw me, I told them everything is under control, it's all right. They wasn't gonna leave until the police left. So the police asked me if I would kindly escort them from the building. I'm not bragging, I'm not boasting, I'm not saying anything to make us look good and the police look bad. But it's just truth. They said, Mr. Farrakhan, could you bring the brothers that were in the basement down to the police station this afternoon or this evening? I said, yes. They said, fine, and we will go. Could you lead us out, please? I had to take them through the angry people, and they were high-ranking police officials. I went down to the police station that night, but I went by myself with one of the other laborers, and they said, well, where are the men? I said, they're not coming. I said, my lawyers advised me not to bring anybody but myself, and so I'm here because I promised you I would come. But that was the end of the case. They charged their brother with murder, but they couldn't make it stick. What am I saying to you? You're going to be made afraid. I don't want you to go out of here now thinking that every time you are made afraid, you're going to come out all right. Because the other part of this is being fearless and faithless is not going to get you victory in every circumstance. Now, a lot of you brothers, you know, and sisters, you have a lot of macho strength. But there are some things you can't challenge with your strength. There are some things that can only be challenged with the strength of God. Now, I'm saying this to all of us, and I'm sure you know it. The government of the United States cannot be challenged with your strength and mine. It can only be challenged with the strength of God. There are forces in this world that you cannot challenge with your strength. And that's why faith is absolutely necessary to overcome fear. Everybody all right? Now this is a 3-word lecture, and I realize that I have already spent maybe 1 hour on fear. But I could stop here, and if you took what you heard right now and made up in your mind that you are not going to let things make you afraid. But fear of God is the beginning of wisdom and mastery. Now, dear beloved followers and believers of God, without faith, you cannot achieve the impossible. But with faith, there is nothing impossible. I'm going to say that again. Without faith, you cannot achieve the impossible. Now, people are always telling you what is impossible. Come on. Oh, you can't do that. Oh, brother, you can't do that. Oh, sisters, oh, you can't do that. And if you believe it, you won't even try. That's right. That's right. That's right. But when you have faith in God, there is no thing that is impossible. Now, how could that be? Because when God created this whole universe from nothing, he destroyed the impossible. I'm going to say that again, because I want you to hear it and think about it. Now, once upon a time, none of this existed. And the Creator created it from nothing. Then what's impossible with him? See, a lot of things are impossible without him, but there is nothing impossible with him. Now look, brothers, see, when you don't have faith, real faith in God, you don't even attempt things that people say are impossible. But when you have faith in God, you will try the impossible and find it's quite possible. So faith in God is a key to accomplishing anything in life that you desire. Now look at this. And I know you've heard me say this in times past, but I want to reiterate it again because of how true it is. Just as a baby on its mother's breast for the first time does not know that milk is there, but will keep on pulling until some milk appears. That's faith. It's the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not yet seen. When you look at this universe, everything that you need to make life beneficial to you is already here. Think of anything you want, it's already here. You ain't got to create nothing, it's here. But the question is, how How strong is your pull on the mammary gland called the universe? Because the universe is a giant breast. I'm going to say it again, since all these brothers like to think about, excuse me, sisters. I'm trying to help you with simple things to understand great things. If you can see the universe as a breast, I'm not being vulgar, but that's exactly what it is. And if that baby can pull on the breast, believing, hoping something gonna be there, and that hope and that belief is rewarded because milk comes. And it won't dry up as long as somebody's pulling. Then you have to learn how to pull on this universe to get the things out of life that the God who created this and you promised. What do you want? Well, brother, I'm gonna pay my bills. It's done. What do you want? That's all you want? Oh, that's punk stuff. But you ain't even gonna pick up on the heavy stuff if you can't get by the little stuff. And the little stuff that's messing your head up is denied to you because you don't have faith.
Yes, sir, that's right.
The scripture says, if you had faith, the grain of a mustard seed, you could say to the mountain, be removed, and it would be so. What kind of mountain do you have in your life that you can't move? And have you ever seen how small a mustard seed is? It is so tiny. I have some at home. I shared it with Brother Minister Ishmael and some others that were at my table. I just put a mustard seed in their hand.
Yes, sir.
You couldn't even hardly find it. That's how small it is. And then Jesus said, if you only had faith that small, you could say to a mountain, be removed. So what mountain is in your life that's troubling you? Well, I've got a lot of problems. Tell me something new. That's what life is. Life is problems.
Yes, sir, that's right.
So what? If you don't have a problem, you're not here. So where are you? When God brought you here, He brought you here to give you a problem. And the solution to your problem is also here. But if you lack faith, you walk around like a dog chasing your tail, and you never quite make it in life because you are a faithless individual. And that's your problem. Afraid, and you ain't got no faith. So you got to live by schemes. You got to try and trick somebody. When they ain't looking, take their wallet, you pickpocket. You learn craft in stealing.
Yes, sir.
You learn how to manipulate silly people to take from them.
Yes, sir.
And a whole universe out here ready to give you its treasure, but you are a punk. And you doing punk stuff. And the white man built a world on your back, and you can't do a damn thing about it because you are faithless and afraid. Well, I probably should have said it in a better way. But it just bothers me that you got so little and the world is here. The white man can't stop you from the breast of the universe. He's on it himself and trying to beat everybody back from it. He's the biggest sucker in the world. He's sucking from everything. And angry because somebody trying to show you how to wrap your lips or your mind around what God has created for you that you will never be without in your life. You don't have to live without, but you can't live without faith. Some of these sisters all upset because there ain't no man in their life. And God haven't stopped making men. Some of the brothers upset because they can't hold a woman. I understand, brother. So the sister's upset, so she gonna eat all day, all night. And just sit there till she needs 2 chairs. Don't nobody love me. It's all over. Yeah, it's over. It's over because you said it's over, not because God said it was over. How dare you think that because you don't have a man, there ain't none out there? You don't have to be turning up the tombstone to try and find one. I'm gonna go down 47th Street, maybe there's one down there. If not, I'll try 63rd and Cottage. I'll go to the local bar, maybe there's one there. No. You go to God. He is the provider. And if you put your trust in God and stop trying to be what you can never be, you gotta be a temptress to get a man. Hell, well, if you get him, you're gonna lose him. Because hell, that stuff can't keep him forever. So why rely on that? That's not permanent, woman. And you let the white man make a fool out of you, make you think your body and sexual pleasure can keep a man, and make a fool out of you so you think being a damn gorilla will keep a woman. Hell no, ain't none of that gonna work, brother. If just being a strong physical specimen, brothers, will keep a woman, why are the greatest physical specimens in the world divorcing? Why are the women saying, I'm sick of that so-and-so? He got big muscles. He can talk about it all night long, but all night wrong. No, man, no, woman. You gotta come to God. He is the supplier of all needs. And your problem is you're running from a real surrender to God. You talk God, but you won't surrender. You talk God, but you won't bow down. You talk God, but you're afraid of man and afraid of your job and afraid of your life. Faith. You can remove a mountain with faith. Oh boy. I have a son who's battling drugs. I don't know how to tell him because I never been that. And you've never been on crack, you don't know what that's all about. It takes somebody who knows what that's all about to help somebody that's in that. I don't know that life. I never lived that life. But when he came to me, I said, son, I don't know what to tell you. Let me get something and put it in your hand. I went and got the mustard seed. I said, hold your hand out, man. And I dropped the mustard seed in his hand, and I closed up the mustard seeds. And I said, look at that. I said, now I know drugs is a mountain in your life, son, but it ain't insurmountable. You can conquer anything if you have faith and trust in God. Now, brothers, this is not gobbledygook kind of teaching. See, I live this. I don't talk God. I live this every day of my life, man. You all wonder why I ain't dead. Because Negroes scared to think like I talk. You know, you say, why ain't he dead? They got power. Why ain't Farrakhan dead? Because they can't kill me unless it pleases God. I get in my car, drive by myself. Sometimes you may see me out there by myself. I don't have no security. I got security 24/7, man. I don't have no gun up under my seat. Somebody threatened me, I gotta reach under, go in my trunk. Hell no, what I got is here and here. And I carry an atmosphere that you have to be something else to penetrate. I'd like to teach you about that sometime, brother. Everybody carries an atmosphere. You from the earth. The earth has an atmosphere. So do you. Oh, you didn't hear me. The earth's atmosphere is its protection. Falling bodies coming into the earth's atmosphere catch on fire because the atmosphere of the earth is fire. You can't see it, just fall in it. So it is with a righteous person. They carry the atmosphere of the earth. If you wicked, you deprive yourself of the atmosphere that comes around a person of righteousness. It comes from within you. You create it because of your goodness. I was driving one night out here on my way to Michigan. It was late, and I was searching around in my pocket for the toll that you go over on the Skyway. And I was going through the park out here, and there was a light, and I put my foot on the brake. And while I was searching around in my pocket for the toll, I evidently took my foot up off the brake just a bit, and I bumped into the car of the man in front of me. He got out the car, he was steaming. And he just wanted to cuss somebody, you know. But my atmosphere. I looked at his car first, and I saw there wasn't nothing there. I looked at mine, and one of the lights was damaged. I said, brother, I am very, very sorry. I should have been paying more attention. And he looked at me, and he calmed right down. I said, do you know where I am? He said, no, I don't know who he is. It's like that Godfather movie. wait. So I reached in my pocket and I had $100 bill. And I said, here, brother, if there's anything to your car, just fix it. Take care, brother. I got in my car and drove off. I'm sure he found out later, because the police drove up. Black policeman, he looked over, he knew who it was. He said, everything all right? I said, oh, everything's fine, officer, how are you? And they saw the way the officer was treating me. I drove off, you know. The point I'm making is faith and trying to be right creates a beautiful atmosphere. And since you are the righteous by nature, brothers, sisters, you're good people. You're not bad. You just do bad. But you are not bad people. And when you're confronted with who you are, which is the righteous, something in you just says, well, yeah. Like when the brothers, the dope busters went in, the brothers were selling drugs, and the brothers could have shot up our brothers. We don't have no guns. But one thing that our brothers respect, we didn't go in there threatening them. What you gonna threaten them with? Them brothers got all kind of weapons, but the thing that they respect is when you are trying to live what you say you believe. These brothers out here do not respect hypocrites. So don't say you're a Muslim and that you're trying to be right and doing wrong. You won't win the respect of the people. But if they see you sincerely trying to be right, the hardest brother out there will love you and respect you. And I'm going back to what happened in New York. Every day, my son and others who are in New York can tell you, I would leave my office at a certain time and I would walk among the people. I'd just take a walk. And there were the brothers on the corner filled with heroin. I never would walk by them without sitting, talking with them. They would say, oh, Farrakhan. And they would take their hand and wipe their hand on their clothes because they felt that their hand was dirty and mine was clean. So I shook their hands. They run up, their hands swollen with a baby in their arms and just ask me if I would just bless their baby. This is Harlem, man. And we were the only store or place in Harlem that had no gates on our glass and nobody would break our glass. Our people love you if you are right and trying to be right. Because no matter how bad you are in your actions, you really are the righteous. And your real power is in trying to be right, brothers. Sisters, that's your power. You don't have to be afraid to be right. You should be terrified of being wrong. Now let me move on faith. And I mean, that's a subject that I hope the minister will take for a week. We'll just deal with fear, and a week we deal with faith. Because, brothers, everything that God has blessed us to accomplish, it was really done by faith. Do you think I like challenging Jewish people? Do you think I get pleasure out of that? Don't you think that I feel bad picking up the newspaper, reading every day somebody attacking me. I could acquiesce like others, but I know you're not going to be free if we don't challenge those who control our lives. And in my judgment, Jewish people have too much control over the life of black people. And you have no control over their lives. None. And you're not seeking it. I'm not anti-Semitic. I'm not hateful of people who have faith in the God of Israel.
All right, family. So that is how to overcome fear. Many notes, many great points from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. If you have anything that you would like to share that stood out to you from your notes, go ahead and press the number 1 at this time. Go ahead and press the number 1 at this time. If you have anything that you would like to share from this great, right on time message from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. Let's start off with Sister Randisha.
Yes, sir. So this message was, as always, so on time. As you know, the minister just talked about fear, faith, and truth, right? And you know that um we will be tried with fear, hunger, and the loss of life. And as I'm embarking on certain journeys, I'm learning to listen to the voice of Allah more and quiet Sisters Randisha's mind, because sometimes my mind do things and it says things, right? It's like the angel and the devil with the pitchfork, but it's myself. Um, that tells me certain things, you know. For instance, certain conversations, I don't like to be punked. And I was talking to my pastor the other day, and I was telling her, I said, you know, one thing that I never like to feel, and I'll be very honest, is I don't like to feel like a P word, because I can be honest, right? And she says to me, she says, and why do you feel like that? And I says, because I don't think that certain people understand me. And she says, you know, she says that can be great, but she says sometimes in order to get somewhere is that you have to walk in certain things. You have to show them. She says, but show them in humility. You don't have to go tit for tat, and you don't have to be all riled up. And I said, yes, ma'am. So I called my mom the other day and we were talking after assisting someone. And I said to my mom, as we were talking, and my mother said, one day, can I tell the story of how you helped me get off of drugs? And I said, yeah, but I said, just not right now, mom, because I don't I don't like to be seen in the eye of something. And my mother said, see, that's your problem. Is you're always dimming your light. And this has always been your problem, is you never like to be in the forefront. But when God pushes you to do something, you have to do it, right? And I say that to say is that when the minister was talking about in Harlem, when, you know, when the police attacked the mosque, and when he was talking about the sisters and being obedient, I took that and I applied it to myself. And how am I being obedient, and what is my mission, and how can I better assist the minister, right? Because if I'm being disobedient, I can do nothing. And a strong soldier is one that is obedient, right? Left face. We can't anticipate the call. Right face. My time, march, right? So I was just thinking about those certain things. But then I was thinking about when the minister was talking about fear, and I was thinking about Rasul the other day. We was having a conversation, and I was a little bit upset with him. That's why I had the conversation with my pastor and my mom. And I was telling him, like, Rasul, you know, if anybody hit you, you hit them back. Because I'm a soldier, right? So I'm teaching him, like, you don't let nobody hit you when you don't hit them back. And he says, but mom, he sat me down. This is the part that really got me. he sat me down and he said, Ma, but in the Bible, although David had fear, God still used him to fight Goliath. And I said to myself, maybe I'm not getting it. So God had to send from the mouth of babes, right? Because oh, a lot, I didn't get it. So I had to say it again to him. He says, yes, Ma. He says, I understand. He says, but I really don't want to hurt. I really don't want to hurt people. I really don't want to hurt nobody. He said, but just as God used David in the Bible to fight Goliath, he said, David was afraid. And I use that to say, and I say that to say this, is that just because we're afraid doesn't mean that we can't be used. And sometimes in our fearful state is when we're being used the most, is when we're being nurtured the most. And then also, as the minister was stating, right? Because I just took so many notes. But the minister says, the beginning of wisdom is the fear of Allah God. He said the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is wonderful counselor. He put, if you can't be true to you, you can't be true to nobody. He put, sometimes you have to challenge your fear. Like the minister says, if somebody's dangling with food, and you hungry, what are you going to do? And then also the loss of the loss of life. He says, me and me alone should you fear in the Holy Quran. He put, I just think about, he put, without faith, you cannot achieve the impossible. He said, when Allah came out of the triple darkness, he destroyed the impossible. So those was just a few things that stood out to me. So assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam. Thank
Oh,
you.
I'm sorry. So I got one more point too. And then when the minister was talking about the brothers, right, going out and being the dope busters, I shared this before, is that, Rasul actually had, he was on YouTube and he was telling me about when Jim Jones was, talking about can somebody call Farrakhan? Like, and the nation with the brothers that are soldiers, right? And how the minister stated that, the brother that was on his way coming upstairs, he said, I don't know what happened. I'm sorry. But he said, I don't know what happened to that brother. But when I went down to the courthouse, he said, I was advised by my attorney that I should come in. Like he said, there wasn't no case. But that just shows you that the leader that we have in our midst, and that, like the minister says, like he don't flex and state, this is who I am, because he tries to live in humility with us. But sometimes it's very hard. So when Rasul was showing me Jim Jones, because I had never seen it, right? But when he was showing me, Jim Jones was like, listen, when Uncle Murder, and I was like, well, man, we got to get somebody on the phone because, we need help right now. So I was just thinking about those things, is that, sometimes we don't have to flex our power, but they do know who the God is. So assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam. Thank you for sharing. Brother Remus.
Yes, sir. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
Shout out to anybody in a cold environment. I feel for you as I'm over here in Southern California with the sun shining. I love for y'all. I'm praying for you. Hopefully you catch some of that heat on this video. Man, if you don't know that we got God in our midst, Jesus example, Jesus and Muhammad in the ministry, I can't thank you enough, Brother Ben, because I've seen that video coming through the ranks. I probably saw it when it was live, but probably another 100 times after that. And because you're not surviving South Central without knowing that video and without understanding the minister, or Chicago, South Side, West Side, or you name your city, that part of town where you'd be a fool to go into some of these neighborhoods without that strength, without that understanding, without that knowing how to challenge and confront the fear in oneself and do it anyway. The fear is going to be there, but you got to do it anyway. If I don't know anything at all about Jesus, I know this is a man that did it anyway. Every prophet, they did it anyway. It might be my new hashtag, Brother Ben. Don't nobody take it. Do it anyway. I'm going to refer back to this video if I see it. He's messing with you. But doing it anyway because all that muscle, Brother Remus, you not fitting to beat up everybody in LA. Promise you that. You ain't gonna tackle no bullets. But all that fit faith. And so you ain't moving 300 papers a week unless you got something that you moving out on, that you testing on a daily basis. So much to say, but our people don't have the right God to bow down to. How do you just say, all right, tackle that fear? You look like a fool if you don't have a example, you don't have somebody that's doing it. And if it hadn't been for the minister, ain't no way I would take on this mission. Man, but with that example, it's like, damn, that faith of a mustard seed, it's not the matter of how huge the faith is, just have some faith. It don't have to be a lot, just have some. And then you can say, all right, blood. All right, Crip, how you doing? This is the final call. I'm cool on that. I don't need that. Nah, brother. Nah, miss me with that. We ain't on that over here. Yes, sir, I understand. Be my guest sometime. Nah, man, ain't with that. I told you. Somebody will be in the background. Okay. Hey, what's that over there, man? No, leave that brother alone, man. Or something like that when they buff up and puff up and they want to, because they know in the back of their mind, that's with Elijah. They know that if you go to the pen, he's still going to be on that page because Elijah's up in there. There's a pass that you get when you have a certain faith. And I know we got to bring this Muslim program to Congress. You're going to have some faith. Maybe it's 2028 because the minister said it's the last time you're going to have a president. So something got to take its place. But who going to have the faith to go? Who going to say, send me? I go. But you ain't going on that mission, Brother Ben, if you scared to show up and grab a final call and get 10 papers. You ain't ready to go to Congress. You won't talk to the mayor. You won't talk to the governor. You won't go get some land around the corner. I was in Chicago real quickly. I'm going to drop it on this because this is a topic anybody could go for 5, 10, 20 hours. But so I'm definitely ain't going to do that. Let me drop the mic. I know y'all saying, shut up, Brother Remus. But let me just share this a little bit. There's a sister out there I bumped into being in Chicago. It's on my Instagram. I can send it to you. It's worth knowing. She said, I need the brothers in the nation. They're going to build a fence around my lot. They're going to take my lot. It probably looked a lot like this, a lot. But these white boys coming in, developers. I said, I'll show up. Went live. Just started talking to him. Confronted him. And I didn't know what you doing. I had a certain kind of spirit that if it had been my place, it might have been a little different. But I just was respecting it was her. I was just there to be there, just to have a presence. She's talking. That man hasn't started building yet. It's been 3 weeks. He was going to build the next day. He had fenced it off, had some Mexicans or something, 3 dudes that would put the fence up, and she was all upset, but she couldn't do anything. She didn't. I told her to come to the mosque. She went to the mosque the following Sunday. Now she's in communication with some sisters, and they're talking it out now. You know what's going to happen? That man's going to build a home for her on that property. She's not going to pay a penny. It's going to be a purchase agreement for about $500,000, it looks like. But he has to find the money for her. You talk about faith. The minister said he built everything. He got that mosque back. Everything is because he had the faith. But how do you have faith in a mystery God? This is why our people have to understand. And the climate is right. They're getting more made every single day to realize what they've been with hasn't been working. You see the Brother Ben, they always come and say, y'all some fools. They come and say they have no faith anymore. They want to throw Christianity, Islam, Nation of Islam, Buddha, anything that remotely thinking about religion or God, throw it out the window. They might hold on to some spirituality, especially the sisters. But nah, man. And therefore, we have no power as a people. We do, those that have it, and we building it. But this little bitty light, this little bitty thing called the nation, you keep watching because I'm going to call it the mustard seed, folks. The mustard seed religion. It's that nation. Because all you got to have is something. You better know Master Farad Muhammad. Let me drop the mic before I open up another can of worms. Brother Ben, I appreciate you.
Yes, sir. Praise be to Allah. Let's go on to Brother Daniel.
Yes, sir. All praise is due to Allah for our brother Raymond and sister Randisha. Those were some great points illuminated. Um, hmm. this is a deep one. It's definitely one that I stated a lot to help me. As the minister was speaking, and he said that when we face fear, then we are moving toward self mastery. And he mentioned various things. You know, fear of a gun. There are things you can't challenge with your strength. And I thought about fear and how, just look at that self in past tense. Fear can cause one to have such thoughts where they don't even have the courage to face a gun. They don't even have the courage to face basic things in life because the thoughts of fear keeps one crippled and constrained. And the minister said that fear and guilt restricts. When our thoughts are so fearful, we won't even try, forget the impossible. We probably won't try nothing at all because our thoughts and the fear that is permeating through our mind keeps us from moving. So I realized that I had to come out of the entanglement of just self fear, fear of what I'm thinking, fear of how somebody going to respond to what I'm thinking, what I'm saying. All of these type of things that keeps one's self esteem and self worth too low to get up and do anything. The teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and the study therein, and then the Dianetics helped me to put that in check and challenge that. And if I do something that's off, then correct. But I certainly had to come up out of the thought of I'm not going to move at all because I don't want to fear it being wrong. You know, those type of thoughts would just have one in a permanent box. And then when you start moving in that permanent box, you really mm, you become damning to self and to others, and you really don't get along because you're acting out of fear and from that great emotion. And I know that the minister said fear is the first emotion that we feel when we are born, and it's the first emotion that prophets experience is fear. So that overcoming that type of damning emotion is very powerful. And last but not least, with the faith piece, um, hmm, I'm realizing that that faith piece has to be exercised from a very simple position, like challenging the things in myself that's holding me back. Having the faith that I can overcome the issues of self. And the minister said that the universe is like a giant mammary gland, and everything that we need to succeed is here, even all the problems that we face. So I have to have the faith and overcome fear that any internal issue that I'm going through with Allah, God, through what He has revealed through His two Messiahs, that I can overcome all of that. And if I can overcome them internal issues, then that gives me the strength, the faith, and the wherewithal to overcome anything external. That's all, family.
Yes, sir. Anybody else have anything that you would like to share? One thing that hit me in the very beginning, he says, whatever makes us afraid and insecure can cause us to bow. And if we bow to that we fear, that makes us insecure, then there is no way that we can be Muslims. Ooh-wee. That was heavy right there, boy. If we bow to that which we fear and to that makes us insecure, then there's no way that we can be Muslims. We are making that a God besides Allah. So one of the things that I want to do is let's clear the word fear. What does fear actually mean? We say it, but what does it mean? Let's see if we can find see if we can find something here. It says here, an unpleasant emotion or thought that you have when you are frightened or worried by something dangerous, painful, or bad that is happening or might happen. Go to another one. It says, so now a distressing emotion aroused by impending danger, evil, pain, etc., whether the threat is real or imagined, the feeling or condition of being afraid. All right, well, let's look up the definition of afraid. I guess they keep passing it back and forth to each other, because one says feeling fear or feeling worry about the possible results of a particular situation. Feeling worry about the possible results of a particular situation. So that just made me think of something. Well, Brother Ben, what's wrong with that? I mean, it's natural to not want pain or to be a little worried, maybe, or, about pain or something danger or evil, right? I mean, that's the thought that goes to my head. But then when I read that definition of afraid, feeling worry about the possible results of a particular situation, whether that be a gun, losing your job, losing a man, losing a woman, what is that? What's wrong with that? And so I believe the problem with that is you don't have, as the minister says, the faith in Allah. Speaking of self, you have no reason to worry if I got you. You worrying about the situation shows and displays a lack of faith in me. So by you worrying in that same act of thought, it's what I'm saying to myself, you're showing a lack of faith in the God. Don't you believe that all things works out for the greater good to him who believe? Don't you believe that God is the center of everything and that he has an active and permissive will? So the minister says, I'm not saying you won't be made afraid, but you must challenge or not let things punk you. So you must challenge the fear. Fear restricts you from the things necessary to become a master. He said, it's not that you won't be made afraid. That's the test of your faith. And then lastly, fear causes us not to think and act properly. Fear makes you so insecure that you have a tendency to surrender to the thought or thinking or to the thing you're afraid of. If you do, it becomes a God to you besides God. Oh man, anything that has force and power over us is a God over us, besides the one who we should be submitting to. Man, that's deep. That's deep right there, man. So the more we increase, so how do we remove the fear? The more we increase and become more secure in the God, have more faith in the God. Understanding knowledge of the God, it over time removes the fear. See, it's like going into a place that's unknown. You're a little fearful. I don't know what to expect. But when you have frequently visited a place and you bring somebody along with you and they're a little afraid, what do you say? Oh man, calm down. It's all good. Man, you straight. Why? Because you not only have the fear, but you know what to expect. You way more familiar with it. Similar to how they say, oh man, chill out, man, my dog don't bite. They don't know that. They don't know that. Shoot, man, this dog may bite my leg off, but you, because you'd been with the dog, you know, you've already overcame your unknown. So in your mind, what they afraid of? Well, they fear the unknown. Man, that's deep. So things in our life, man, there's going to be so many things that we don't know. There are so many things that we don't know. Because once you learn and you gain faith and you stop fearing one thing, something else may come up in your life that you haven't experienced before. Like the minister said, yeah, you strong. You may know martial arts, you know, Krav Maga, you know all of the mixed martial art. But he said when you got that gun in your face, ain't no chopping. Well, let me not say that. You could do something if they're close enough. But shoot, if they 10 feet away, ain't no chopping move that's going to get that gun away. Because now he ain't close enough. So what you going to do now? So it's just so, man, there's always another level that can cause you to be afraid. So the only way we can really overcome that is to increase the faith in God, not even logic. Because what I said, you know, with you went around the building, that's because you've literally been there before. But what about when it's something where you have not, where you have, it's no logic that you can give me. I have to have faith in the God in order for me to get through this one right here. Because there's nothing you can tell me to make me logically maybe not be afraid of it. So I have to have increased faith in the God. Well, how do I gain faith in the God? I think by having the remembrance of Allah always on our mind and being grateful and mindful of what the God has already done for us. It says history is best qualified to reward our research. Study those that came before you. I think the Quran often talks about that, the things that happened before you, those who came before you, right? When we read during Ramadan or when you read elsewhere. So if I'm not grateful or mindful on what God is doing for me daily, I may overlook his power. I may overlook his security. Don't you know, son, I done already got you through a similar situation. But when you're not thinking of that and you're not mindful of that, and now your thoughts, because we got this negative bias, is leaning towards the negativity, but it's not leaning towards all the positive things. It's not leading towards all of the trials that you have gotten through. Your mind focuses on that which you didn't get through or what's so painful and that what you haven't got over yet. You're always constantly thinking about that when we have the power to think about all the things that God did get us through, all the things that we did overcome. So when you realize and you look at the scoreboard, you say, whoa, God really blowing things out. But because we don't sit down and think over that and think about that and think about how so many people did not make it, but hey, I'm still here, so I did make it. God still got his hands over me. So I think that helps us with the faith, because we're not mindful on what he's done. And if we're more mindful, it will help us with the faith. It's like that person who always come through for you. You have faith you have faith in him. Every time you get in a fight, man, they there with you. Every time you need something, they there with you. So you cling to them. You have a trust in them. When you like mama, you know, if don't nobody come through, if you got a mama like that, mama gonna be there. Why? Because mama has showed up time after time after time, and you can remember those times when mama showed up. You can remember those times when she gave you this, she did this for you. Well, don't forget who gave you mama. Don't forget how the God was also there for you time after time after time. Sometimes I think it just becomes so second nature to us that you still got eyes, boy, that you can breathe, that you got sight, that you almost got in a car wreck, but you wasn't as damaged, that you missed it. Oh, it was a close miss. You don't realize the things that he's done for us, the things he's gotten us out of. I think the Quran even talks about how he's covered your sin. Come on now, those things that you know that nobody else know. So don't forget the things that he has done for us. And I think that gives us the strength in him to overcome the things that we have not faced just yet. Damn, this is a new one right here, boy. I don't know. Ooh, I didn't prepare for this. Well, how do you mentally go there is by saying, you know what? It was something in my life 5 years ago that I didn't prepare for. And look at me now. I got through it, didn't I? So just being mindful of how good God is, man, I think will help us out. So hopefully that makes sense. Let's go to Brother Remus.
Yes, sir, Brother Ben. I'm going to just start right where you were right there, faith. People had faith in Tyson, right? Oh, I know you're going to make it, bro. Oh, man, he don't know you from your heyday now. You're 58, whatever he is. And faith, what happens when the person you have faith in ain't there and they lose? Oh, Elijah Muhammad did. He didn't work. Oh, did you get the message? Is he alive? Do you know? Were you there on the physical level? But then inside you, if you let your God die, oh my goodness, if you let your Messiah die, your messenger dies. What boy, you want to see some pain in somebody, Brother Ben? Let the person that was always there for them, grandmama, auntie, friend, cousin, person that worked the stuff, that person they could count on to be there when the bullies was coming and when the bank repossession crew was coming to get the car and somebody stepped up. Let that person be gone from someone's life. You're gonna see a reaction you can't even quite imagine because in their minds, their God has died. In their mind, the strength is gone. In their mind, that's why what did Master Muhammad tell the most Muhammad Muhammad? What did he put in his hand, Brother Ben? I know you know the answer. It's test. Got to get to the here after that. It's test. What did he put in his hand when he was walking down the street and he left him?
I think that was Psalms.
Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I shall do what? I shall fear no man. I'm standing on something solid. I've got this. Honor your parents. Wow. They know something. You wouldn't have been here without them. They did something. What was life like for them? Think about that at some point. The child ain't think about that. They just want to marry. They just hey, feed my twin brother. What you mean? I'm hungry. I ain't thinking about him. Made perfect yet imperfect. They gotta evolve. But faith falls. If my faith failed me completely, the minister said it would have been over. I'm paraphrasing. I just can't. I pray Allah don't let my faith fail me completely because we still human. We in these bodies, and it's I say human, but God is human too. But you got to grow into God. Jabril had a tape called God 101. You need to find it. Ooh, them lectures by Brother Jabril. When I came in 27 in 1994, he's on the mic talking. He said Elijah Muhammad told me that Master Prophet Muhammad told him, tell the white man you don't want your mail delivered right here. Mr. Muhammad wants his mail delivered over there. What was he telling us that for? This is what Jabril is saying to us in the audience. And I'm coming from Japan and I'm listening like this brother. Dang some stuff. This is the one, right? He's talking about the ministry, he's talking about he said, you gotta test your God. You gotta test Master Farrakhan Muhammad. Not in a fearful way, but jump out there. You gotta say, all right, if you don't have my back, going into this barbershop, it's gonna be all bad. I ain't getting out of this one. So, but then when you test them and you see, oh man, try that again. Let me go to the next one. Oh, let me go. But you stand and you realize that them bullets that's in that final fall. Or you go into this war without them bullets, it's a wrap. That paper has a past attached to it. I'm telling you what I know. You carry that paper with you, it's like I won't say you Superman. I won't say you got a bulletproof vest on, but spiritually, they know something just walked in this barbershop. Something just is on that corner. They know. The white man knows, the black man knows. They may not go with it, but they know that right there is not to be played with. There's a sacredness around that. And let me say this, charity. How is charity related to this conversation? When I only got a nickel in my pocket, I'm Elijah Muhammad, I give my last, I gotta have faith, man. I still gotta eat. And I only got $100 and I say, damn, they want money for paper. They need money for the number two poor. They got, there you go. And then watch how you gonna be so fired up to go get some more. When your pocket is full, you don't be, oh, hey, take this little 200. I got a couple million. Yeah, I ain't tripping. But it's something different when you step out there and the fasting. Oh my goodness. You talk about building some courage, brother. When you gotta eat to live, gotta eat something. You say, I'm gonna wait. You exercising that God power now. It's kicking in now. You're gonna start to say, hey, I don't know. I'm trembling. I'm, trying to smile it off and see it looking good and trying to, man, oh, today's on Saturday, huh? We got to get till tomorrow. Oh, yeah, you better find some words to feed off of these teachings. You better, because your mind going to have to get occupied with something. Two things can't occupy the same space. So back to what you said. I'm shooting a free throw, Brother Ben, and I doubt. Doubt is the mother of hypocrisy. You know what doubt's closely related to? Fear. You're doubting. You're a doubting Thomas. You moving out like, yeah, I'm a believer in this, but I really don't. Been around people like that, brothers, just where they act like they believe in, but they really, you can tell they shaky as I don't know what. You got to get away from that. Hold up, man. You got to come on, let's go. Make a weak Muslim strong. Come on, what you doing? Come on, we're doing this. All right. And eventually that person might be the captain one day. You see, the minister, he said, when he first came in the nation, he wasn't no worker beat. That man was an artistic man. He wasn't hands are soft. It's the minister talking now. I think I'm talking about the minister. But he worked his way into every position in the mosque, and so that he was qualifying himself for positions that was waiting for him, if that wasn't in his mind or not. But I remember my daughter learned to swim. Talk about holding someone's hand. You talk about walking them through it, and they thinking, oh my God, this man trying to kill me. For sure. They kicking, screaming, and it's gonna be all right. I'm right here. I'm holding you. It's gonna be okay. It's like being in, the home, the tub, and whatever. It's okay. But and eventually, they're laying on their back. They got the little floaties, and you can remove the floaties and a little breaststroke, and what am I saying? They don't know. We don't know. A brand new guest, they don't know these teachings. So you hold their hand. I watch you. Everybody watch how you hold their hand. That's a divine word. They kicking his thing. They ain't messing your faith up. You just like, I don't know a lot if they ever gonna come around. Well, I guess you're going to blow on them, but I got to keep on inviting them. I got it. Well, okay, brothers. And I love you all. Hebrews like brothers. I know you. Okay, well, yeah, I understand. Okay. What I'm saying? There's a point where as a parent, in these teachings, 10 years in, you're an elder. What you saying? You're a current elder because somebody else is brand new. 10 years? That might as well be 100 years. Might as well be 1,000 years of experience, man. When you just brand new and the masses is coming. So we're still learning, but we also teach. And that's why the minister said, you're a student minister. You're a student captain. Please don't get beside yourself. Yeah, you know a lot more than everybody else. But damn it, compared to Allah, don't ever get beside yourself. So it's that fine line. So some people look at us as arrogant people. But it's like, no, we just can't have that fear that's like that. We can't because we'll die. I come back to you. I was going to say to you earlier, you shooting that free throw. You talking about the word possible results. Oh, and our people, oh, yeah, this could happen. Well, I don't know. What if they do this? What if the white man kill all y'all at the Million Man March? What happens if they spray some shit? That right there, you can't be around that. Get thee behind me, Satan. That scared to death thought, that'll kill me. I can't shoot this free throw and look at the crowd. Oh, you ain't no good. Ooh. Hey, man, I got faith to know, hey, I got to tone you out. I got to act like you ain't even here. I know it's 50,000. I know it's the Super Bowl. I know it's the NCAA Final Four. I got to treat this like this is one of them practice shots where I done hit 10 out of 10,000 times. I hit 9. All I got to do is just do this one time and stay focused. I can't get caught in the emotion. You cannot get caught rising above emotion into the thinking of God, into the thinking of Allah, into the thinking of Master Prophet Muhammad, into the thinking of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. But I tell you, when you step out on this, and I can tell you this from 30 years, when you tested that day after day and that day after day, it becomes such a no-brainer. It becomes such a instinctive thing. You look crazy sometimes. You look like, what? Either this man is, the minister said, Elijah Muhammad said, either the God that I have is God. But if he's not, he's still more powerful than whatever you bound down to. Just marinate on that. You ain't ready to say he got whatever he's standing on. Because it's like he said, if I leave in the Rastafari Muhammad for 1 second, I'll be a bumbling fool. And that's a beautiful thing to realize you cannot leave. I don't care what family say, mama, dude, hey, it ain't for you, that's fine. You want to wake up and fight in me? Try to pull me away from this. I'll die on that post today, tomorrow, yesterday. Bro, it'll be here lies Brother Remus. He believes in that thing, but he's on the corner of 54th and Crenshaw. Hey, is this gonna work, or are you gonna have some story to tell? Come pick his body up because got a bunch of papers laying around here on the ground. But it ain't no going backwards. And now, because we already behind enemy lines. If you're American, you behind enemy lines. Whether you understand it or not, how are you going to survive? How are you going to be in this world but not of it? I just wanted to share some of that because consideration. Another thought on the way out. Two things can't occupy the same space. Doubt is the mother of hypocrisy. And when you have some consideration for that possibility, one thing I love about Japan, they have plan A and they make plan A work because it's so tight, it's so small, and so many people counting on it. If you make that train late, everybody on that train is going to get to the next train, and they're going to be late. And then they're not going to get on that island over there, a bunch of islands in Japan. And because that one train was late way over there, and everything is going to be jacked up in a lot of people's lives. So we have to make it go right, get rid of the problem, and let's go. So anyway, I appreciate you.
Praise be to Allah. Thank you for sharing. We want to ask today. I usually don't ask, especially, I just haven't asked since Ramadan. But I'm asking for you guys to support the power call, the efforts. So I'm putting the link inside of the chat for those who would like to donate and help us out. You can select whichever one works for you, or you can click other, and however you want to, whatever God puts on your heart. But that is a button for you guys to support the efforts and donate to your power call if that is something that you desire to do. I did put the link inside of the chat for you all. Let's go on to the next. Brother Daniel. No. Yes, Brother Daniel. The other Brother Daniel.
No, dear brother. Other brother Daniel. Okay.
I think, yeah. Let me see. Wait, no? Is that the right one? Okay, yeah. Go ahead, Brother Daniel. I only see one today.
No, I appreciate that, dear brother. I was going to let Brother Coach Muhammad speak because he didn't speak, and I didn't want the time to run out.
Okay, yes, sir. Go ahead, Brother Coach Muhammad.
Assalamu alaikum, family.
Walaikum salam.
I decided in my mind, Brother Ben, that I was just going to listen. But that story of Daniel and Goliath is a story. It's one of my favorite stories in the Bible that I learned as a young boy. That my father had discussed with me and showed me in the Bible. And he always took out the fictional aspects of it that preserved the story over the years, Brother Remus. So my father always kept it real. So he, made it real. And I've always appreciated that story. Put myself in David's place. But as a child, it's more adventurous and fun in a sense, right? Thinking I'm this brave warrior, and but I was attracted to courage. And I remember, it's funny you mentioned about swimming, Brother Remus, because I was no more than 7 years old. I really think I was about 6, and how I learned how to swim. Because I was used to going to this individual's house and in the swimming pool, and we would all do it. And, my stepbrother, stepsisters, and my sister, and whoever else children was over there. So I used to jump in the deep end, Brother Remus, with a, I've been told I shouldn't say floater. That wasn't the appropriate name, but that's the only one I know. It was a floater, okay? It was made out of styrofoam, though. Okay, and I would jump in the deep end and do my thing. This one particular time I jumped in the deep end, and that floater broke in pieces. and I went straight to the bottom. I don't know how deep it was, but I know it was deep enough for me to drown, right? It was way over my head. And I don't remember how long I stood at the bottom, Brother Remus. I just know I just stood there. And then I began to dog paddle. And from that day forward, I never used a floater again. And it took the circumstance to remove my security, right? It took I didn't know I had the ability to swim, obviously, right? I got a floater, right? And I don't like to come off like I was just natural swimmer. And then no, it came actually from seeing other people do it. See, sometimes courage can be contagious, right? Like when I see another individual, right, show the courage, right, and then it triggers something in me that, damn, same thing. Some of us right now experiencing fear, just putting a 1 in the chat, not wanting to speak. I say that because sometimes I do, right? And I know I ain't by myself, but being, y'all in here with me. I might be the only one saying it, you know what I mean? But I know sometimes like that fear, right? And I put in the chat, when I used to coach football, this is what I used to tell the players, fear is, true courage is being afraid and doing it anyway, And I was laughing at myself, but the reason because I said, yeah, I was telling them that, but I had to apply that in my own life at times. You know what I'm saying? Like, it sounded good on the football field. I'm the coach. I ain't even gonna be the one out there on the field. So sometimes it'd be easy to tell others, and then it show up in your life. And I gotta practice what I told you, brother Remus, just last week. You know what I'm saying? And have I always done it? No. Have I allowed fear to get the best of me at times? Yes. And we're not talking about always like fear of physical harm or we're not talking about obvious things of fear. I'm talking about sometimes the fear of correcting somebody. Sometimes the fear of doing something that I know is right and going against the grain, right, or the group. Sometimes I just don't feel like being that guy, right, to go against the grain. But I also know there's some balance in it. Sometimes the truth breaks the peace. You got to hold the truth. So it ain't always necessarily that I'm afraid, but I do, when the minister said, you ain't true to yourself, you can't be true to nobody. And y'all might not have known, Brother Ben, why I didn't do that or why I didn't say that. But when I do the self-talk that the minister talked about and the self-reflection, and I get honest with myself, I say, Hakeem, you was afraid. Just say it, man. Like, I done already did it, right? Right, Brother Remus, like, it done already took place. Me saying it ain't gonna make it worse. Me admitting it ain't gonna make it worse. And sometimes that's not easy. Sometimes, right? But the faith and it has built over a period of years. I'm gonna be quiet after this. And it was that story that I heard years ago too, Brother Remus. I'm sure I was in the audience that the minister gave about that bull. Hearing the story alone was inspiring, right? To have some courage. Now, the odds of me being faced with a bull were very slim because I don't live in no area where there's no bulls. Okay? So I wasn't looking for that, right? But I have been, I would say, threatened by some pit bulls before. And with the reputation of a pit bull, right? I don't really know how true it is, right? But I believe it. So the belief is enough for me to be afraid. But the Ravens, you know what I'm saying? Right? Because pit bulls can be this and that. Like, why wasn't it a golden retriever? You know what I'm saying? Why couldn't it have been a poodle? It was a pit bull, man. And I remember the minister's story. And I did that exact same thing that he did with them pit bulls, man. And I came out without a bite or a scratch. I called on Allah. The pit bull was barking, right, at me, Brother Remus, and I was saying Allahu Akbar. The pit bull was barking louder, and I was saying Allahu Akbar louder. You know what I'm saying? And somebody got to give. Something I didn't run. And he went on his way. He got 4 legs. You know what I'm saying? It was yeah, it was better for him to run. I only got 2. I knew I couldn't outrun him. But sometimes it's just having those reference points. And I honestly believe Allah will allow these things to show up in my life. Sometimes when nobody else witnesses it but me, right? To give me a reference point, right? Because he knows what lies beneath, even when I don't know. And they become manifested. So yeah, fear, it can be embarrassing, right? You can maybe feel guilty and ashamed, right? Those are some of the feelings, the prior byproducts, man, of not acting out of the fear. But the manifestation of that defect is actually a blessing. I just came up, Brother Ben, because I didn't found something, a defect in me, right? And now I'm aware of it. Now, if I don't do nothing about it, then I'm going to suffer more consequences. But I'm just, not only that, I'm grateful for the group and allowing me to share that, even though I had no intention on saying anything. But you put me in touch with something that I had forgotten. That's all I got.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Let's go back to Brother Daniel.
Allahu Akbar. Thank you, Brother Hakeem, for that powerful testimony, dear brother. I was just listening to the minister yesterday, and we must be productive. And he said to kill a defect, we must first manifest a defect. So that manifestation piece is important, brother. And you mentioned something that's important because it really deals with us as men. It's not in our nature to want to be seen as fearful. It is embarrassing because we just don't want to come off like that. So even when we're afraid, we get to acting like we're not. Overcompensating, doing all kinds of stuff. We don't want to be seen as cowards. But it makes me think about what the minister said when he said that Allah didn't create, when Honorable Elijah Muhammad told him, Allah didn't create us to be afraid of anyone but him. That's deep. Because that means that when Allah says in the Holy Quran, I will try you with fear. Then he tells us to fear him and him alone. He's using fear to get us to the point where we only fear him. That's a serious walk. And it's making me realize that fear is coming. It ain't if. It's just a question of when. And until I overcome that fear, I'm going to keep being challenged and challenged and challenged and challenged with it. So that tells me ain't no sense in running from it, because if it's going to keep coming up, I might as well go ahead and face that bully and get it over with, or that bully going to keep beating the brakes off me. I got to go ahead and face it, do what I need to do so that fear won't keep coming up. And it reminds me of when the minister said that when he was at the Javits Center and that big imposing fella stood up with that gun and challenged him. He said he was afraid, but he challenged the fear. Then when he told the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, he said he was very concerned with how he handled that. And then when he told him, I did challenge it, then Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, yes, brother, it is written in the Holy Quran that Allah will try us with fear. And I also remember the Honorable Elijah Muhammad saying that he used to be afraid. But Allah showed him that he had no need to be afraid. And he got to the point where he said, if it was 10,000 outside my door, I yet would not fear. So they become the examples of how we can face fear, overcome fear, and only fear Allah alone where we can totally be free. Thank you, family.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Anybody else have anything that you would like to share? Sister Jamie?
I don't want to share anything. Assalamu alaikum, family, first and foremost. I don't want to share anything because I kind of came up late. So I did hear a little bit of the minister. All praises to Allah. His words is needed for this day and time because it is so much that we do got to face when it comes to fear. But the number one thing that we need to start facing, family, is the fear that restricts us from within. Other than that being said, brother Ben, thank you so much for this platform. Thank you for helping so many people. May Allah continue to bless you this year and into the new year. Whatever, assistance that I can give to the Power Call, please don't hesitate to let me know, because this is a value for our people, and it's saving our lives, and it's saving the lives of those who don't have a platform like this. And I just want to thank you for that, and continue to do what you do, brother, no matter the difficulties that come your way. That's all I wanted to say, family. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. Praise be to Allah. Sister Gina.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
I'm not going to be long. I just want to say, when you talk about fear, and we will be challenged with fear. Yesterday, I got really scared because my mom wasn't responding. I couldn't feed her. I thought that Allah was going to call her, and I started to cry. And I said, Allah, please let her bring in another year with us. Please let her. Late last night, she started, because I couldn't feed her all day yesterday. I did get her to drink a little bit of water, but I couldn't get her to eat nothing. And so I prayed. And late last night, she started talking like she always does to dead people. And she loves to talk to dead people, which is fine, because she's going back in her history and she's talking to, everybody in her life. So, but yeah, I just want to say that fear will get you, but like we've been told, call on Allah, and Allah hears us. And a lot of times when things happen, I remember that Minister Farrakhan told us that if we ask in the Honorable Elijah Muhammad's name and in his name, Allah will grant whatever we ask. And that's all I have to say. Thank you for listening. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. That makes me think. He said something in his lecture. He says, you will survive. Then he said, if you go in the way God directs you, you will win. But if you become afraid, the fear restricts you. Then Sister Randisha put a point out, if you can't, from what he said, if you can't be true to you, you can't be true to nobody. Then it says, the Quran says, I will try you with something of fear. Now and we know at least once or twice a year, I believe it says we're tried. So I will try you with something of fear. So we better get ready and get in that spiritual gym and get some faith, because it's telling us, it's forewarning us. I will try you with something of fear. Then the minister says, it's the first thing he uses to try your faith. If I can make you afraid and insecure, where you lose your truth in God or faith in God, then I can make you bow to what it is that you're afraid of. Now, the heavy part of that is, you may look at somebody else's trial and say, oh, I can pass that one. You may look at somebody else's, what their fear is, and say, oh man, I'm ready for that one. But no, don't get it twisted. He's going to try you with something that, that's going to be a trial for you. If you don't smoke, your trial ain't going to be weed. If you don't drink, your trial ain't going to be alcohol. So that's not going to be your trial anyway. So all of us have something, no matter, we can be strong online all we want to. We can but it's something that we're weak in. It's something that we may be a little afraid of. It's something that we're not as prepared as we would like to be. And that's normal. So we all gonna face this. It's something we not gonna get out of life without coming face to face with it. And if you failed the last time, okay, well, shoot, think about what made me fail. Damn, I couldn't overcome the fear. Man, I just couldn't. Okay, well, that's where we work. Okay, what is the root of this? Why couldn't I? Get deep into the mind, man. That's our work right there, man. Because if fear restricts us from becoming what God wants us to become, that's what we need to be dealing with. So when I see people get up in the morning, or they going through life saying, I'm bored. How can you be bored? How can you not have something to do? Oh man, I ain't man. What I can't call it, man. What shoot? Well, man, I ain't doing nothing. What you mean? It's so much for us to be doing. Well, I ain't got no job. Well, man, your job is to look at these impediments that we have within ourselves that's causing us, or maybe causing us, shoot, not to have the job, not to be making the money, not to start the business. Let's start there. Many of us want to grow businesses or get a job, whichever choice you choose, and we're not as pleased as we want. Could it be that it's something that we fear that's restricting us to do the very thing that'll make us successful in our business, in getting a job, in doing whatever we desire to do? So we always have something that we can be working on. That's why the self-improvement study guys, man, how can you exhaust that? Oh, I heard that before. I don't care if you heard that back in the 80s or the 90s. Man, you always going to be going through something new to where you're going to run into one of the study guys, overcoming difficulty, the struggle for balance, mixed feelings and controversy. That book is man, you're going to always need that. Because these are, he's giving us principles and spiritual guidance for things that's going to constantly be happening in our life. When you overcome that thing that you struggled with last year, okay, I overcame it. Don't think, all right, game over. Whoo, I passed my test. No, you got another one coming in 2025. It's not over because you got a new milestone. Oh, this ain't Madden, baby. When you beat somebody on all Madden, you think, or Hall of Fame, oh man, God got all kind of levels that we ain't never heard before. The level just keep going up. You can't think you done mastered Hall of Fame now. You through. No, he got some levels we ain't never seen before. But at the end of the day, what I'm noticing, man, is that when you look back, you say, damn, it seemed like I can't never. But then you don't even realize how strong we becoming. Because you look at how weak you was on Rookie. You used to couldn't beat Rookie. Now you killing Rookie. Some of y'all that don't play the game, y'all probably don't know what I'm talking about. These are levels. These are the difficulty levels on the game. So when you look back, you may look at your trial right now in 2024 and say, ooh, man, I'm struggling with this one. But really, you have become stronger and some of your past struggles is easy to you now. So God is, all he doing is putting some more 25s on the side. That's all he doing. Put some, okay, he done mastered this 235. Okay, put them 20. I think he ready for them 25. Okay, well, let me take them 25s off. Now he got 2 more 45s on the side. Let me see what he can do with this one. Okay, that's 2 more. Okay, let me take that off. Let me put the 25. Let me give him a couple weeks.
Just put a 5 on it.
Just put them 5s on there. Let's give him 4 weeks of this. Let his muscles get adjusted to this. Then we're gonna go up on him. That's all God is doing to us. So it's difficult. It's like, man, I feel like I can't never catch a break. But really, he's ripping that muscle and rebuilding the muscle because it's something bigger, man, that he wants us to be able to handle for us to be able to live. But we'll never get there if we keep giving up on the 45s. Just one on the side. He wants us to get to maybe 3, 4 45s on the side. You know? So that's what I want to end off with and share with my end, man, is that he said we're going to win, but if we keep ducking it and we allow the fear to restrict us, it may restrict us for a moment, and it may make you hesitate, but don't let it stop us completely with what he wants us to do, because we won't never get to the other side and experience the freedom, experience the relief. Whew, I got over that one. Because that's a good feeling. Man, I did it. Whew, I did it. That feels good. But you will never experience that. We'll be trapped in anxiety and fear and just that, that feeling you have in your gut and your stomach. That's a bad feeling to keep going to sleep to that every single night. You wake up with that every day. You know it's something you're supposed to be doing and you just can't do it. So go on, get your little time up, your time of feeling relief before that next trial comes, because it's around the corner. All right, let's go back to brother Remus.
Yes, sir, beloved. Man, so much. Living or dead, the minister said, I will be the winner. When you standing on the faith, and we know the Quran says that even if you lose your life in the way of Allah, never speak of those that die in the way of righteousness as being dead, because they live on, but you perceive not. And so the minute that kind of faith where you like, hey, I might lose my life, but hey, I know I'm on the right page. And facing the fear, you talked about loss of life. You shall be tried with loss of life, loss of property, loss of, whatever, job. But, you're going to be tried. We say our prayer, our sacrifice, our life, and our death is all for Allah. The minister said, you think you're going to say that and not be tested? You think you just, I done said it. I profess the name of Jesus. I'm good. No, it's a little more to it than that. So try with what you love. You can't try Brother Remus with no alcohol. I ain't never had no affinity for that. You can't try me with no drugs. You can't try me with Hollywood and the Diddy nonsense and Clive Davis. And I've been in LA. I grew up, I've seen too much. You can't try me with that. But you know what you can try, Brother Remus? My daughter. Oh, you about to test my faith now. You do something to that one? Ooh, you see what you love. Now that's not like a thing like you should be ashamed of, but it's what you love. Love your mama, you love your son, you love your husband, you love your ooh-wee. And let somebody do something to what you love. Oh, we gonna see. Oh, we gonna see where your faith is. If it's a brother, if it's another sister, and ooh-wee. Allah said, kill nobody that Allah has not put to be killed. But I tell you, when you get tried with what you love, brother, it'll make you a man. It'll make you go to some levels that you ain't thought about yet. Marriage is half of your faith. It's one thing to master pushing papers, get a car, get the feel for the program, and okay, you ain't married, though. Go get married. Okay, where you at, brother? Well, we missed you Wednesday. I think what? Well, brother. Yeah, it's understood. Yeah, you took on a little bit more on your shoulders, didn't you? But you still got that charity. Yeah, you still got to carry it in paper. We still got the sole purpose is what? To go get the 17 million with the 2 million. That ain't changed because you got married. Oh, she's pregnant. Oh, you got a child. Okay. Yeah. Oh, you got 2 now. But we still got to carry it in papers. The program don't change. Minister got 9. Minister got a few grandchildren, a few great-grandchildren. He might have great, I don't, what I'm saying? So, but it don't change. So you better build a team. You better get some old folks coming in. You better do some recruiting, Brother Ben. When will my help come? Oh, if you don't need no help, you don't have a big enough mission. I'll say that again. If you feel like you don't need no help and you got it mastered, I'm good, I don't need nobody else, you got to put some more weight on it. You're going to need a spot. That's part of this journey. Hey, can you, I know I don't know you, you're in the gym, but can you spot me right quick? I got these 3 plates over here. I just want to feel it. You know what I'm saying? Big Brother Reese in there, right? You know what I'm saying? There's a part where it's a humility. It's something about that because this weight is so big that you got to call on Allah, but you're going to need some helpers. So is it any wonder they don't want the minister to talk because they know that's a man that can call 1 million black men way back. He speak today, you wouldn't need nobody else to be strong about nothing. He could go, but Allah, maybe Allah saying, no, I got to get out the way because I need you to develop this muscle. I can't, it's not designed to just have one person. Oh, that person gone. And now everything fall apart again. It's got to be 1 million Farrakhans. It's got to be 1 billion Farrakhans. It's got to be 1 billion Elijah Muhammad for 3. And then you number 4. It's got to be 1 billion number 4s. All of us. They got to be looking back saying, well, Apostle Brother Ben or disciple or his sister Ronisha, and they said, and that's what we doing. There's nobody going to, you think about it, who you going to look back and talk about 20 years from now that was here saying something? Umar Johnson doing his part, this person. Don't you want to be in that number to say, damn, I did do something. It's going to be over. You don't know anybody that's not here from COVID? You don't know anybody that's, yeah, we're going to miss it. But damn it, let the record show you did something. You kind of nudged a little bit the Japanese part, Brother Remus, and we still got a lot more international trade, but you got something to do. Brother Lieutenant might not understand. It may not be his mission. What you going to do? Well, Allah, the captain didn't quite understand. So you know what Allah tell me in my conversation with him? When did they become your God? That hits me every time I talk. Allah be like, "Oh, so they became your God? I'm not the prayer sacrifice. Like you more worried about what so and so gonna think. You know how I had you from day one. When you came in, you stood up. You filled out the player's card. I'm just sharing that with you because I do believe that we all have that in our own way. Well, so and so wasn't ready. They didn't fight. See, I didn't want to look like that. I was, being kind of rebellious. So I just kind of, oh, that's your God now, Remus. Just understand. And so don't ever. So when you ain't happy and you can't rest and you ain't at peace, know that. Like Job, you know you not doing something. It ain't about nobody else. Or we need to do this. We don't need to do nothing. You need to do something. That's it. Outside of that, I don't have control. But this, oh Allah, yeah, guide me on the right path and let me. What do you say? I seek thy refuge from anxiety and grief. I'm gonna end on this. I seek thy refuge from lack of strength and laziness. I seek thy refuge from cowardice and niggardliness, stinginess. I seek thy refuge from being overpowered by debt and the oppression of men. I remember thinking, I don't have no men oppressing me. Oh, keep sticking around a little long. Oh, you're gonna need that prayer. Every word in there, if it ain't applying now, you keep doing this work, you're gonna need every one of them prayers on a regular. And Minister Elijah said, seek refuge from the envy when he envies. Table the minister's trials, man. That man, it's so worth studying. If you want to know you, if y'all want to know me, if you don't know that man, you don't know the example in your midst on how to get through my own personal stuff. And if you don't know how to get through, if you can't see how he got through his stuff, and that don't inspire you to get through your own stuff, I don't know. Maybe you just ain't made. I don't know. I don't tell you, but if it works for you, good. But I believe whoever you are, the best thing I can do is introduce you to that man and get out the way and let you develop an intimate relationship with Rob El Alamin, the nourisher unto perfection. Because if you look at me, you're going to come up short. Guaranteed. But if I get you looking at him, you'll be all right. You'll figure it out.
Walaikum salam. Praise be to Allah. We have been on here going on 3 hours. So what a message. Again, if you guys would like to support your power call, I apologize. I noticed when I put the link in the last time, maybe that's why nobody donated, because the link, I don't think that link worked. I think that was an old PayPal link. Yeah, I looked at it today. So I had to create another one for those who would like to support. I would like to give a shout out to those who did support your power call and the efforts. I want to give a shout out to Brother Reginald. Shout out to Sister Michelle. Shout out to PA Solutions Personnel Services. I want to give a shout out to Brother Daniel. So thank you all for supporting your power call. I always want to make sure I shout out those who are giving support. If you guys would like to donate, you can just put the link inside of the chat. I'm sorry, you can click the link that is inside of the chat. And I'll put it in the power call community as well if y'all would like to support. We will be back, inshallah, 8 a.m. Central Time tomorrow. 8 a.m. Central Time tomorrow. I forgot. So forgive me. I forgot. That was like maybe last week. We were supposed to do something Future Fridays or something where we was everybody was on that Monday, I think, supposed to think about something that they wanted to accomplish. Maybe this is 2 weeks ago. And we was going to come on and share. So what we may do is discuss that tomorrow. So if y'all can remember, hopefully y'all did it this week. That wasn't just an experiment for that week. Hopefully y'all applied the principles that the minister told us every week. But maybe that's what we'll do tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll come on and we'll just talk about, hey, what goal did you have for the week? Or if you didn't think about it this week that we did it, and just talk about were you able to accomplish it? Were you able to get it? Were you able, what stopped you from getting it? What did you do if you did get it? So we can just learn from us as we strive to manifest things and bring things into reality in our life. So maybe we'll do that tomorrow. So again, thank you all for listening. Thank you all who supported the power call this morning. And I will see you guys, God willing, in the morning at 8 a.m. Central Time. And again, those who are tuned in on Facebook, YouTube, X, if you would like to join the power call, it is free to come on. You can talk to us in the morning, give your feedback in the morning. We may want to hear from you. www.thepowercall.net. Create your profile, www thepowercall.net. Assalamu alaikum, and y'all have a blacktastic day.
Is Brother Ben here? Brother Ben. Now, Ben got a heck of a program. A lot of people listening to Brother Ben. And Ben tells them about the minister. And Ben tells them about the minister.